if he would get up for tahajjud. But the man didn't get up for tahajjud. He would just shift his position in his bed and he would remember Allah out loud. He'd make takbir until he got up for Fajr. And he noticed that whatever he would talk about while he was there with him in his house would always be good. He never talked bad about anybody. He always spoke well. Second night comes again. He's looking for him to get up for tahajjud. No tahajjud. He's not making suhoor, not fasting. Nothing. Third night, he's waiting again, same thing. So he said, I began to detest this man. Why in the world would the Prophet ﷺ say that he's going to be among the people of paradise? He's not doing anything. I don't see him doing anything special. So he went to the man, finally, just said, listen. There was no argument with my family, my father. But I had heard the Prophet ﷺ say that there would appear in the masjid one from the people of paradise. So we looked and we saw you 3 times, 3 days in a row. So I wanted to find out what actions you were doing so that I could imitate them, but I didn't see you doing anything. What is it that has elevated you to that station? That status that the Prophet ﷺ said he will be among the people of paradise.
Yes, sir.
So the man said to him, what you saw was what I do. I'm not doing anything special. The only thing is that I bear no malice towards any Muslim. Nor do I feel any envy towards anyone for the good that Allah has granted them. He went to sleep at night having no malice, no bad feelings in his heart towards any Muslim. This was his special characteristic. So special, Abdullah ibn Amr ibn al-As said, that's it. That's what brought you to that special station. It is something that we are incapable of. The rest of us, we can't do it. No malice, no bad feeling in the heart towards anyone. And this is a message to us that this is the way Muslims should be. Having no malice towards fellow Muslims. So whenever you hear a da'wah, people are calling you to one group or another group or a movement or whatever, and then they're telling you to hate Muslims, to hate your fellow Muslims, to declare your fellow Muslims to be disbelievers, to make their blood halal for you. Know that this is a lie. Right. This da'wah is false.
Right.
This is not the way of Islam. That's one of the signs of the extremists and the deviant groups. Their da'wah is a da'wah of hatred. Hatred against the Muslims. And anybody who knows the history of ISIS and these other groups, that's exactly what they say. That's one of the common features you find in all those groups. Because to make the blood of another Muslim halal, you have to hate him. You have to declare him that he's no longer a Muslim. Something of that nature. The 6th principle is that of voluntary worship. Voluntary worship. The Prophet ﷺ praised voluntary worship. So much so that he said to one man who asked him, Murni, Ya Rasulullah, bi'amalin yudkhiluni al-jannah. Command me to do a deed which will put me in paradise. And he said to him, Alayka bis-sawm, fast. Another man asked him, tell me the deed that will put me in paradise. He said, don't get angry. But fasting is one of the deeds which will put us in paradise. If we are regular, Mondays and Thursdays, 3 days of the full moon in the lunar calendar, establish these voluntary acts of worship, and Allah can put us in paradise. As Prophet ﷺ said, Man bana lillahi masjidan, bana Allahu lahu baytan fil jannah. Whoever builds a mosque for the sake of Allah, Allah will build a house for him in paradise. Building a mosque, this is a voluntary act. This is not obligation. So, focusing on the voluntary acts, doing them sincerely for the sake of Allah, this is one way to paradise, to be among those going to paradise. And Abu Hurairah narrated that on one day, the Messenger of Allah asked the companions who were with him in the masjid, who is fasting today? Abu Bakr replied, I am. He then asked, who among you followed a janazah today? Abu Bakr said, I did. He then asked, who among you fed a needy person, poor person today? Abu Bakr said, I did. And he said, who among you visited a sick person today? And Abu Bakr said, I did. And the Prophet ﷺ then said, one who combines all of these must enter paradise. He made the bushra, or glad tidings of paradise, for Abu Bakr, because those voluntary deeds, these are not compulsory, voluntary deeds, he had done them, all of them in the day. So, this is one of the ways, this is one of the characteristics of the people of Jannah, that they strive to do as many voluntary righteous deeds as possible. The seventh habit or practice was that of sacrifice, making personal sacrifices. And the classical example of it is the case where Aisha mentioned that a poor woman came to her carrying her 2 daughters. They were hungry. They were starving. So Aisha gave them 3 dates. 1 date for the woman and 1 date each for her 2 daughters. The kids, the 2 daughters, they ate up the dates so quickly that the woman was only just raising the date to put it in her own mouth, hers. And they were looking at her date. She could see in their eyes their need, their want. So she split the date in half and gave 1 to one daughter and the other to the other daughter. she went without that sacrifice. When she told it to the Prophet ﷺ, he said, Allah has made paradise obligatory for her. Allah has made paradise obligatory for her. So, this sacrifice, of course, the ultimate sacrifices for with one's life, for the sake of Allah, fi sabilillah, Allah has promised paradise for all those who would do that. But most of us don't get that opportunity. But there are other sacrifices that we can do. Sacrificing what we have for others. So,
Assalamu alaikum.
that's